shining example of how regional cooperation can benefit economies of partner states. Western Dynamite intensifies its training ahead of the diamond trading company Botswana Northern Block Championships. We're live from Gaborone, the capital, and good afternoon. And now in our first story, President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi has arrived in the U.S. to attend the premier JCK Diamond Trade Show in Las Vegas. According to Minerals and Energy Minister Lefoko Moagi, Botswana needed to have strong presence at this year's show due to the ongoing developments in the diamond space that could unsettle the diamond market. He says Botswana will use this platform that has attracted over 300,000 participants across the diamond value chain to inspire investor confidence on the diamond market, particularly Botswana. The current unsettling issues in the diamond space include the aggressive marketing of lab-grown diamonds, uncertainty over the sale of De Beers by Anglo-American, and the G7 proposal for all rough and polished diamonds to be certified in Antwerp. This year, Botswana features a Botswana home at the JCK show and will anchor her diamond brand positioning messaging on the real, rare and responsible mining tagline. Meanwhile, Minister Moagi says Botswana is keenly watching the ongoing negotiations between Anglo-American and BHP on the sale of De Beers. Anglo-America holds 85% shares in De Beers, while Botswana has 15% shareholding. Minister Moagi says Botswana is looking to increase its stake in De Beers when Anglo-American divests from De Beers. There has been 3 failed sales negotiations so far between BHP and Anglo-America.
Kompone ya Anglo go ntse go na le bangwe ba batla go e reka mme ga ba dumalana ba ganne kopo ya bone gararo jaaka le itse gore go na le kompone ya BHP e leng gore the biggest miner in the world e ne batla gore e reke Anglo mme kana Anglo ke motsadi wa De Beers o re leng partner le ene ka jalo ga ile gore sengwe sa dira go bogolo thata yang re lebile gone gore re konatolele agreement ya rona le De Beers le rona go ne ga ra gare mang ka dina le bone gore go ka kgoreletsa eng mo teng ga di khantse dintseng jana ka gore kana gore re konatelle jana go gore ke be ke banela di mine license ke di extendile jalo ga ke sena go di extenda wo fitlhela le gore go na le mongwe yana ngo tsereng a rekile De Beers mo ka gore go tle go na di shares tse di offloadilweng ke Anglo a gana ene a o tla tsamaya le maikelo la lefatshe la Botswana ya ka re ntse tsamaya le Anglo ke tsone dilo tse e leng gore le tsone tle be re ntse re kopane le batho ba go nna jalo re bona gore we align gore re ka tsena le partner e fe ga go setse go tenya we are floating these shares be re kgona gore Botswana a reke bontlha bongwe company eo e tsene le one be re ka bontlha bongwe jo e re mmogo re be re ikopantse re be re itse gore we don't have a hostile partner e leng gore o tla ba sa tsamaye le maikelo la lefatshe la Botswana ke dingwe tsa dilo tse e leng gore re tla bo re tle re ntse re di lebile ka kwano re kopana le batho ba go nna jalo gore re yaanong ga re setse re ya go nna fatshe e be le go dilo tse tsotlhe tsena re di kopantse we've got timelines we've set ourselves and re ikela gore re fitlhelele ka tumalano ya De Beers.
The Zama Trust chairman, Mr. Charles Proctor, says funds raised in this year's Zama Trust walk on sand dunes for the camels will go towards establishing a new location to depopulate camels from the Zabong Ecotourism Park. Mr. Proctor highlighted that they are currently struggling to maintain and derive value from the over 500 camels at the park because they are overpopulated and crowded in a 3.2-hectare park. The trust needs more than 1.5 million pula to develop infrastructure and relocate some of the camels.
Preparations are underway for the second Zamama Walk on St. June's for camels built for the 1st of June. The First Lady, Ms. Nauma Sisi, will once again lead this year's walk, which has added in a number of activities that are expected to also sensitize the nation on camel science, rearing, and their value chain additions. Mr. Proctor says while the main objective of this walk is to raise funds that will help establish another place to be used for depopulating these desert animals, Zama Trust, which comprise Zabong, Maubelo, and Maleshe communities, is also looking at ways in which they can derive maximum value out of them.
Camel auction, adopt a camel. During the dinner.
We have an auction sale for camels, where the highest bidder will have exclusive rights to the camel for a period of a year. For that period, the bidder will ride and milk the camel without paying anything.
Throughout the year.
There are currently over 500 camels and 55 zebras in this 3,200 hectares park, whose carrying capacity is 150 animals. This overpopulation has negatively affected the upkeep, maintenance and overall productivity of camels. It is expensive to maintain these animals. We are appealing to the public to assist us find an alternative place to relocate them. A study conducted by Buang has suggested culling, but we don't want to take that route because we don't have a market to sell camel byproducts.
Because to start with, hagona market o established. So
the trust is pinning their hopes on finding land where some of the animals will be kept and also establish a factory to harness their value chains in order to draw exponential benefits to the communities. If we could find land, we would establish a factory that could sell the camel's byproducts. There are lots of value chains that could be produced from the camel industry, as it could be expanded to the international market.
So there's a lot that we can make out of that. The intention is to even export all these products.
Following the expiry of a 10-year partnership agreement with Botswana Tourism Organization, the two parties are currently negotiating on extending the agreement with a view to transform the park into a high-end tourism destination. BTV News, Zabong.
Moving on with our stories, the resident engineer overseeing the construction of Motopi Makalamabedi Road project, Mr. Musupi Mwile, says it is progressing well since it was handed over to the contractor in February this year. Mr. Mwile was speaking during a site visit to assess the project's progress by the Department of Transport and Boteti District leadership. Sebastian Tebogo has the details.
The construction of the Tadi Motopi Makalamabedi Road has brought a sigh of relief for residents of the two villages, as it will ease movement, especially that the gravel road was a challenge during rainy season. Currently, the contractor has started grading the site for the works to commence.
Project is around 264 million. It's so far mo kodinya boraro. Winsi ya tiro di rahalang ha raka establishment ya ka se le bone mo site. Ana sentse le tsena mo se le ise litse gore molela go go bona kae. Di se di tshwana bo metsi jana ga re go simolo go le tsome gore la bona metsi kae. La go nne le ntse le na le se di le gore mo le ka bona kae. Ga re le simolo le tsome so di o tsone tseo di so tshwana bo maroko.
The construction of this road required for relocation of some years. Therefore, the compensation exercise has since started.
So far, ba ne ba bereka se go pele ba ne ba se ba dirile di assessment so ile a re simolola contractor volunteer gore ba ta duela gore process teng ne boeo so far go se go duetswe bontsi ja batho ba ile gore ba amega me ibile le bona batho bona ba re se ba kopile gore ba hodise defense ha ile gore ba sentse ba sutise teng so far bontsi tota ba setse ba sutisitse so ka re ga rena di challenge di kalo ka ko so lo bona ba hutia mo re sa mo gona mangwe ke a nana le bemba one le bona ba setse ba duetswe.
Mr. Mwile also emphasized that construction of offices and accommodation for officers has already commenced and that it has created employment for local people.
Ile re se ka ro bona gore ha gongwe mantu a twelesegileng go dirisiwa mo constructioneng a bidwa go di prefab ke mantu a reng gore ga sa senna la ruri mme ha o tshwantsha madi a tele madi a go ga stena ha ngo bo ithala gore ga go nne le pharologanyo e kalokalo. So re opta gore go botuka gongwe re dirisa stena ka re sone ke senna la ruri sa bobedi o create employment. Yone tiro ya go dira di prefab tseo kana gore we got more than 70 people ba lengwe ba bereka gale ke batho ba lengwe ra ne re isa di prefab go ka gore brick suppliers, you create business for sand suppliers hela jalo.
The construction of this road, which has been awarded to citizen-owned estate construction company, is expected to take 18 months to be completed. Sebastian Tebogo, BTV News, Motopi.
Air Botswana Chief Executive across the country. Ms. Rasebotsa confirmed that Air Botswana is faced with a number of challenges such as flight delays, amongst others.
Air Botswana Chief Executive Officer Lulu Rasebotsa confirmed that operating an airline is complex, especially when there is shortage of aircrafts. She revealed Air Botswana. Ms. Rasebotsa also confirmed that the airline recently embarked on a crisis management exercise as an effort to improve the status of the airline.
On a refleet. I'm glad to say we have identified 3 aircraft, 3 fully paid for, on the market for the 4th. And you'll be very glad to know that all 4 are going to be Embraer jets. ATR will remain a part of the fleet. But I think the intention of the refleet is to minimize on those very delays. Over and above that, as part of the refleet means we are creating employment, especially for crew and being cabin crew and crew in the deck being your pilots. It's an opportunity for us to train.
As the Ukraine-Russia war has led to the increment of fuel prices the world over, Ms. Rasebotsa says the airline's businesses have not been spared from this.
Although in some instances I can talk about certain things which are out of control of the airline, things like your fuel costs, especially when you have emerging wars, Ukraine and Russia. Aviation fuel is extremely expensive.
Ms. Rasebotsa is now confident that the much-awaited refleeting exercise at Air Botswana will efficiently address issues relating to flight delays. Mpho Keleboge, BTV News, Gaborone.
And in more news, the Vice President, Mr. Slamba Tsogwane, says the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, or KAZA TFCA initiative, is a shining example of how regional cooperation can not only benefit the environment but economies of partner states. Speaking at the KAZA Heads of State Summit held in Livingstone, Zambia, the Vice President mentioned that Botswana remains firmly committed to the initiative.
The theme for this summit, leveraging KAZA's natural capital and cultural heritage resources as catalysts for inclusive socio-economic development of the eco-region, resonates deeply with Botswana's National Transformation Plan. Our plan prioritizes 8 sectors for development. Within it, we have tourism at the forefront, and this is what we are dealing with. A thriving KAZA TFCA with its abundant wildlife and cultural richness presents a significant opportunity to attract more tourists to our region. Botswana is committed to working closely with our partner states to unlock KAZA's full potential and ensure its inclusive economic development across the eco-region.
Thank you for staying with us. Now we continue with our news. Botswana have been encouraged to embrace the art of photography, which carries potential to transform lives. Speaking during the launch of the Beauty of Botswana photography exhibition in Maung, the founder of Vixen Excursions, Ms. Tepo Pokoje, said that photography further gives Botswana an opportunity to be at the forefront of telling their own stories through memorable pictures. Maranyane Samakata reports.
Ms. Pokoje first discovered her skill and passion for photography during the COVID-19 era, when her work attracted a good following online and has never looked back. Ms. Pokoje has been exhibiting solo for a couple of years, showcasing nature and the beauty of Botswana. This year, she has called on other photographers to partake in the exhibition.
So many photographers, if you are asking about them, they really don't also treat photography like it can be a full-time career. So for this year, I decided that I'll do a national competition where we were inviting anybody that is over 18 years who is a Botswana to submit their best photo of Botswana, because the theme for this year is the beauty of Botswana through our lens. Just calling out everybody that could be able to showcase our culture, our landscape, and as well as our street, because also when you're walking in the streets, there are so many things that we tend to overlook. And then we also obviously had to include wildlife, and we tapped into the mammals and also the birds. So we did a call out, and then when the competition ended, the final part was that anybody that is participating and would be successful would be able to be part of this exhibition.
Photography gives Botswana an opportunity to tell their own stories.
As Botswana, a lot of times we're not in the forefront of telling our own stories, and we have so much to share. As we move forward, let's be in the forefront of that. Let's come up with all the stories, because the importance of photography as well is that it archives the memories. And from Vixen Excursions, which is my company, our slogan is that we keep the memories alive, and we can keep the memories alive through photography.
I started photography about 6 months ago when I got my camera, and learning, I would say I'm self-taught. I've learned everything I know now. I learned from the University of YouTube. And yeah, right now things are looking very good. As my work has been shown on this exhibition, it shows me, it's a confirmation for myself that I am going somewhere. There's something that I'm doing right.
Photography remains an untapped niche in the wildlife economy, a sector that carries great potential to diversify the economy of the country, which the government has been encouraging many to explore. Maranyani Samakata, BTV News, Maung.
Now, the Ministry of Defense and Security has distanced itself from a circulating memorandum supposedly from Manong Lodge, cautioning the public about some registration numbers of vehicles suspected to be used for human trafficking. The memorandum, seemingly bearing the Manong Lodge letterhead dated May 23, 2024, has been circulating on social media this week. According to a press release from the ministry, the memorandum does not originate from them and further advises the public that there is no Botswana government ministry called Ministry of Defense and Justice. And moving on with our news, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Khotla Autlwetse, has handed over a modern shelter to Matopi village in Tati East constituency, built through the Constituency Development Fund. Amongst those who accompanied the minister was the area member of Parliament, Dr. Douglas Letsola Tebe, who is also the Minister of Education and Skills Development. Bethany Mando has more.
Matopi is a remote area in the Tati East constituency along Botswana-Zimbabwe border, a stone's throw away from Matseloje, and it was first recognized as a village with its own Khosi in 2009. Just like any other remote area, Matopi is lagging behind in infrastructure, and with this modern quota shelter, it is a step in the right direction to bring the much-needed developments to the village, which will serve as a platform where development will be shaped.
Me ha o tsana mo motseng o boithalalo bo le tshwana lele le agilo ka madi ona a ke sa tswang go bua gore ke madi a taolo a ne le mo parlamenteng.
When you come into a village like this one and find a modern building like this quota shelter, you become very happy. This shows that the VDC, the Member of Parliament, councillors and the Khosi in the village have the vision for development of the village.
Ka gore solo sa ntlha se go neela sekao sa gore mo motseng o go na le komiti ya dithabollo VDC e na le tebelo pele, go na le mokhanselara yo na le tebelo pele, go na le mo parlamente wa tlhwatlhwa, go na le kgosi e na le boikarabelo ka gore bone batho ba bane ba ke bone bora dithabollo ba motse.
Re na ra nna ha tsara dumalana gore madi a re ahiwa constituency fund ena a ne tona bua ka one hiwa 10 million o hiwa.
We agreed that the Constituency Development Fund of 1 million pula given to Matseloje and Matopi ward, part of it should be used to build a quota shelter in Matopi. It shows that there is a good working relationship between Matseloje and Matopi.
Tona re khonne go aga motsono ga go a supa gore go na le tirisano mmogo gareng ga motso wa rona Matopi le motso wa Matseloje ke re ba ga etswa re tsweleng re berekisaneng jalo.
Go dirisitswe madi a hetang 400,000 pula go aga lobole e bile tiro e dirilwe ke Bengae go nonotsa itsholelo le go thamela banana ba Matopi ditiro.
mme bile ke le bone gore ke lobo le la agegileng mme kana go saletse rona ba Matopi jaanong.
The quality of the work is satisfactory, and it calls upon the villagers to take care of this development. In other villages, they vandalize this kind of buildings, and I call upon you to report any damages to this property.
Mme kana batho ba dirang jalo ke bana ba rona. A re yo bona motho a dira dilo tse dintseng jalo a ska mmipa.
Khosi Tshimologo Toteng used this opportunity to share some of the village concerns.
Ke tsatsi la monate la go bula shelterai. Mme tse dingwe ga o le mogolo go roga mo motseng di re go lekudise.
I am aware that we are here to open a Kotla shelter, but as a minister, we want to inform you that we are concerned with theft of goods received from poverty eradication by our neighbors.
Ba hilwe dipudi. Mme kana go ya ga re bua yana tota batho ba re ba pile le mololwane tona re mo bothateng. Dipudi tseo ga di yo mme di ya ga etsho mogolo go ra malome ka.
Minister Autwetse assured residents that quota offices for Matopi will be built in future to correct a mistake that occurred as they were supposed to have been constructed. And he also informed the residents that the road linking their village with Matseloje is also on the card. Bethany Manto, BTV News, Matopi.
Well, with that last story, we now move on to the sports news with Ntabogan Sebetlela, who's on standby.
After demolishing Eta Green Stars by 21 goals to 0 and then thrashing the loss,
Thank you very much, Komotseho Tukile. Now, in context, the sports news follows with me, Ntabogan Sebetlela. Western Dynamite's coach Zibokchwa Kangangwane says his team has intensified their training in preparation for the Diamond Trading Company Botswana Northern Block Championships, where they will face teams from Francistown, Buteti and Chobe regions. In an interview with BTV Sport, Kangangwane said they aim to replicate the form they displayed during the Ngabe Regional Playoffs games last weekend. Anthony Tobohang.
After demolishing Eta Green Stars by 21 goals to 0 and then thrashing the Lords 5 goals to 0, Mount-based Western Dynamites qualified for spot at the Women's Diamond Trading Company Botswana Championships Northern Block Playoffs, where they will be competing for a spot at the DTCB Top 4 tournament. The Hippos, as Dynamites is affectionately known, say they are more than ready to take on their next challenge and move on to the Top 4.
Of course, we
are very much prepared, and thanks to our supporters for encouragement. I believe my camp is ready, in good shape, and with the standard of our training, we will be triumphant in the playoffs.
Training is very, very high intensive training.
Setlhopha sa Western Dynamite ha se la ntlha se tla bo se ya ko legatong la dibloko ke tsaya ke re experience ya rona ya last year.
This won't be our first trip to the Northern Block playoffs, and we have worked on our errors from our previous encounters and intensified our preparations. If we can apply ourselves and what we do in practice, I believe we can win.
Ke tsaya ke re training ya rona se re se dirang every day ha re ka tswela re ntse ra go se dira ko pele re se ba into practice re ka hella re dule ka maemo a mante thata gono go di blokong.
The team's management also pleaded with parents to allow their under-15 children to come for training, as they are also trying to develop football from the grassroots.
Tota hela jaaka le itse BFA ga mmogo le FIFA tota ke one objective ya bone tota goreng re tshwanna.
FIFA and BFA mandate of developing football at grassroots level is what we are striving for, to help these kids develop and harness their football skills, and we have realized that children grasp quickly at grassroots level.
Ke so se leng gore gompieno ana re itemogetse gore ngwana monnye o ithuta ka bonako.
Western Dynamite's ladies will be up against the likes of Totume Soccer Angels from Francistown region, Tawana Top Girls from Buteti, and Panda United representing the Chobet region. The tournament is slated for the beginning of June. The Hippos will be looking at the experience of their attacking midfielder Dimposi Dirwa, their central defender Kaone Kokong, and their top goal scorer Lebran Dilelo. Anthony Tobrang, BTV Sport, Maung.
Joining Galaxy, Board Chairman Sokolamento Aikai says they are overjoyed to have achieved their set targets for the 2023-2024 season. He pointed out that their main objective was to defend the league title and to reach the Orange FA Cup finals. Katlaho Kakole.
Ntayagae further revealed that, having used Jwaneng Galaxy as a pilot project, they now want to turn the mining town of Jwaneng into a sports hub where teams from all the sporting codes will excel in their respective leagues.
What we are doing, we are deliberately setting up Jwaneng as a sporting hub. Jwaneng Galaxy 10 years ago, if you recall. In fact, this year we are turning 10 years. It's our anniversary. So it's only befitting for a concluded 10 years. A double, back-to-back champions as well as the FA Cup. So right to la strategy from there are resources ever execute.
Despite the jubilant celebrations in Jwaneng over the weekend, the board chairman highlighted that they had a great deal of challenges, which also motivated them to work extra hard in their quest to defend the league title.
If you recall, season early high simola renality injuries since our squad was almost depleted with the key players injuring. But already financial challenges wa itsore kefe ya tura ba tamadi a mantsi. So ne re sokola go honora di games tsa rona tsa kefe re travel away to Francistown, so it's one of the challenges. But all in all, strategies are not berekile. Here we are. We just back-to-back champions.
Mmadinare will once again face Orapa United in the Orange FA Cup Season 5 finals, built for Obetitani Chulume Stadium in Francistown on the 15th of June. Katlaho Kakwele, BTV Sport, Jwaneng.
And now, and lastly, Botswana Netball Association President Nkemezi Mpudi says they have taken a decision to postpone the 2023 Lukara Netball finals due to lack of preparations. The finals were scheduled for this coming weekend in Orapa. Lydia Poloko with more.
The 2023 Lukara Netball finals were scheduled for this coming weekend in Orapa.
What brought about the postponement is that we had a meeting with the sponsor, and it emanated from the meeting that there were some logistical preparations that we had not entirely put in place that we had to take care of. Hence, we mutually agreed with the sponsor to postpone the games to the 4th of July.
Despite the cancellation, the association president Nkemezi Mpudi says they have met with the sponsor to map a way forward.
Our sponsor was a bit cagey that there were quite a number of things that she was not happy about. She cited lack of consultation on our part, lower commitment from our part. She cited lower, publicity. So we have since committed to all those, and we hope the postponement is going to address all those.
Mpudi went on to highlight that all is not lost as preparations are still ongoing.
The preparations are going on very well. Teams are so excited about the finals, and we look forward to all the teams coming for the games in Orapa. It has not done much damage because As the national executive, we are the ones who have negotiated accommodation for the clubs in Orapa. We are the ones who are negotiating, who are doing most of the arrangements for the clubs. So I would say it has not done much damage to the preparations.
The finals will now be played from the 4th to 8th July in Orapa and will feature 8 women's teams from both North and South regions in police, BDF Cats joining Notwane Task, Maung Heroes, Traffic and Nico United, as well as 8 men's teams of police, BDF Cats, Vipers, Prisons, Traffic, Maung Heroes, Nico United and Thunderbolts. The winner will walk away with 25,000 bula, while the second and third positions will get 15 and 13,000 bula respectively. Teams that will finish from position 9 to 16 will each receive 5,000 bula. Lydia Boloko, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
From In Context, the sports desk. That was all we had for you this hour. Until we meet again later in the day with our Story Bulletin for now. Thank you for staying with us and good afternoon.
So we specifically wanted to have a workshop here because we thought younger generations being trained in culinary arts will represent the future, and the biggest purpose of this week is to promote Turkish cuisine, and the best way to do it, to have a withstanding promotion, is to do it